All right, hello everybody. Let's go ahead and get started with section 1.7, inequalities and interval notation. So again, I have these filled out just as before, and we're just going to kind of go and talk through so you don't have to waste all the time watching me write everything out. So we're doing greater than or less than signs. Now these are typically read from left to right. So that means when you look at this first one right here, you see this symbol first, and so you're comparing what is on the left to what is on the right. And if what is on the left is less than what is on the right, then this is the symbol you would use, and you're talking about that this is the less and this is the greater, okay? Because this is opening toward the greater side, like the bigger open side over here is opening towards the greater side, and then it's pointing almost towards the less side. So if we look here, since we read from left to right, we see the less than sign, so we know this has to be a less than. So it has to either be this or this, right? Those both have less than in them. But we also have that little line underneath it, which means or equal to. So ultimately, that's where we have the or equal to, and so number 4 is A. That's that one right there, okay? I'm going to kind of run through the other ones real quick here so I don't have to keep explaining that, but that's the order in which you read them. You're saying if the one on the left is whatever to the one on the right. And in this case, less than means the one on the left is less than or equal to the one on the right. That's what this one means. The one on the left is less than or equal to the one on the right. This one just means the one on the left is less than the one on the right. So that's number 1. So here, let's do this. Let's put some colors on this. Here's this is less, so that's this one right there, goes right there with less than. Actually, let me highlight that one. Less than. That one was less than or equal to. And then after that, we've got this one, the one on the left it's saying the one on the left is greater than, because it's opening to the left. So it's greater than, and then we have that little line, so greater than or equal to. So that's that one right there. The next one is infinity, and so that's that one right there, infinity. And then the final one is going to be, it's saying the one that whatever's to the left of this symbol is greater than. So there you go. There's that one. So let's take a look here and try using this and state whether or not these things are true or false. So here it's saying -20 is greater than -10. In this case, we want to say false, because what this is really telling us, if you start thinking about, applications of this, you might think, oh, well, losing $20 is more than losing $10. So -$20 is greater than -$10. Well, what we're doing here, that might be the way to think about it in some cases, like if you're in your physics class or something like that. But what we're looking at here is location on the number line. So we're starting at 0, wherever, and telling whether or not something is greater than or less than is just telling whether or not it's further to the left or further to the right. And further to the left means less than. So like this could be -20 over here, and this is -10. We're saying this is further to the left than this one, and so therefore we consider that less than. Okay? So it's really more about location on a number line. So this one is going to be false. -20 is not greater than -10 because it's further to the left. So this one, false. 1/11 is less than 1/10. Well, or less than or equal to. Yes, that's true. If you divide a pizza up into 10 pieces and you have to split it up between 10 people, and you're one of the 10 people, you're going to get a bigger piece than if you have to divide the pizza up to 11 people equally, right? So here I have to divide it up amongst 11 people, so everybody's getting a smaller share. If I only had to divide it up against 10 people, everybody get a little bit bigger of a piece. And then this last one, -infinity is less than infinity, and that's again true. If you look on the number line, infinity is going to be over here, and -infinity is way over here. And so -infinity is left of infinity, therefore this one is also true. Okay, so that's how you start judging these greater than or less thans. Where are they on the number line? Oh, and one more on this 1/11 and 1/10. If we're looking on the number line, 1/10 would be out here, and 1/11 would be to the left of it because it's less than it. Okay, so to the left, less than. All right, next let's take a look at these inequalities and start talking about converting them over to interval notation. So this right here tells us that every x is greater than 3. We're looking for any number greater than 3. So we can write this in interval notation, where you write from left to right here, and you put it in here. So the way we'd write this one is we'd put a parentheses, then the number 3, then a comma, and then out to infinity because we have no bound to the right, and then an open parentheses. A couple things I want to note down here at the bottom. You always do this smaller to larger. You put the lesser number, the smaller number on the left, and the greater number on the right. Something like 3 comma negative 3 really makes no sense because you're in the wrong order there. It can't be greater than 3 but less than negative 3, like the way we're doing that. That doesn't right there make any sense unless you have 2 different broken sections, and then that's not the way you would write it anyway. And then also, whenever you're writing an infinity, parentheses mean you don't include the number. Brackets mean that you do include that number. That's like you have an or equals to sign for it. So it's like, like number, this third one here, it's x is less than or equal to 3. So we have or equal to, so we put that bracket around it. For infinities, if you put the parentheses, it means it's just less than it. There isn't an or equal to, like this one, x is less than 3. That means it's less than 3, but not 3. It can't actually be 3, so we put a parentheses there. Now, when it comes to plus or minus infinities, positive or negative infinities, we can never equal those. They're not an actual number. They're more of an idea, so you can only ever put parentheses around the infinities. Okay, so be careful when doing that. Infinities have to have parentheses. You can't have an or equal to. So then let's go to this fourth one here. X is greater than or equal to 3. So we have the or equal to, so we put the bracket, and then it goes out to infinity. And then we have negative 3 is less than x, which is less than, or I'm sorry, negative 3 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 3. So we put a bracket here. It goes from negative 3 all the way up to 3. It can't be greater than 3, and in fact, it can't even be equal to 3, so we put a parentheses there. So that's our interval notation. That's how you would draw that out. The next part would be writing this as a number line, and so you can see the number lines over here. So this is x is greater than 3. So what we would do is put an open circle here, right there, open circle, you can see it, and then draw an arrow pointing to the right because that's the direction we're going. We want all the numbers bigger than that. And of course, we labeled it as 3. The next one, on the other hand, is x is less than 3. So again, we're labeling it as 3. Here's our number line, open circle, and we're going to all the values that are less than 3. So that's everything to the left, not including 3, hence we have the open circle. The next one is x is less than or equal to 3. So now we have the or equal to. So this time, when we go to 3 here on our number line, we're putting a filled in circle there. And then we're putting the arrow to indicate we're covering everything less than it. Okay, the next one is x is greater than or equal to 3. So again, here's our 3, here's our number line, and then we're putting a filled in circle because it's greater than or equal to. So we have that or equal to, so it could be 3. And then we're going for everything greater than, so that's an arrow pointing to the right to all the larger numbers. And then the last one has to be greater, or x is going to be greater than negative 3, and it's going to be less than 3, so it's between those two. So the way we do that is, it's or equal to for the negative 3, so we put a filled in circle there. And then it's just less than 3, so we put an open circle there. And then it has to be everything to the right of negative 3 and everything to the left of 3, which just means it's everything in between them. It can't go bigger than 3 and it can't go less than negative 3, so it's in between them. Okay, next page here, some basic interval notation. Now, this is the way you may see it sometimes, but here you can see the inequalities and then the interval notations that would go along with it. Okay, so make sure you recognize those and understand where those come from, where k is just some number. It could be a 7 or a 50 or a million or a -5 or whatever. And then there's our way of graphing it. Now, if you look here, it's different than we just did on the previous page. They're actually putting in parentheses here for when there's no equal to, right? And then they're putting in a bracket on the number line when there is an or equal to here, right? You can do that if you want, but I think the more common thing is to do the open circle and then the arrow. Let me do that not in highlighter. The open circle and then the arrow, or the closed circle and the arrow. You really want to know how to do both. So like this would be an open circle, arrow to the left. This would be a closed circle, arrow to the left. So make sure you really know both of those notations in case it's multiple choice or you have to pick it out or something like that. You need to know either way you write it. Brackets are inclusive where it has the or equal to, and parentheses are when it's not, can't be equal to that, it's not inclusive of that value. All right, so let's take a look at some problems here. Here I've done this, these first ones. Here we have to have x is greater than 3 but not or equal to, so hence we have this open circle right there. Okay, so open circle because of this part. And then we have to do less than or equal to 7. So here, less than or equal to 7, so that's a closed circle on it. We know it has to be less than or equal to 7, and it has to be greater than or equal to 3, just like that. So this is what we end up getting filled out right there, okay? So hopefully that makes sense to you. And then try the interval notation, which is drawn right here. We have a parentheses around the 3 because the 3 is not inclusive, and we have a bracket around the 7 because it's inclusive of the bracket. All right, I've done a few more of these here for you to take a look at. This next one is very similar to the previous one. From -5 to 5, it's inclusive of both, so we have brackets around both, and we have closed circles around both, and everything filled in between, because it has to be between -5 and 5. This one is going for x greater than 0, so we're going for no equals to, so it's an open circle, and we're going out to infinity to the larger values. And so we're not equal to 0, so we have a parentheses, and then we go out to infinity, and we can never include infinity, so parentheses right there. The next one is x is less than or equal to -1, so we're at an or equal to, so I filled in circle, and we're going for the less than part, so that's to the left. Here, we're coming from negative infinity. I always do this from the smallest to the largest, so we're coming from negative infinity, and we can't include it, so parentheses, and we're going all the way up till we hit -1, and we can include -1, so bracket around it. All right, here are a few after that for you to go ahead and try and see how you do with them, and that's pretty much it for this section. Yep, just making sure there wasn't another page I forgot about. So that should be it. Try these other ones and let me know if you need any help with this. All right, thank you. Bye.